Yes, hello and welcome to another vlog from Ben Rider. Yes, today we're testing out the MT-07, Yamaha MT-07 as a, guess what, A2 version. And I've had that before already, but I wasn't able to do a proper test ride. Seat height apparently 805, so a little bit lower than normal. Not too heavy actually. 180 something, I think, fully loaded. Regular exhaust. From standing still, it doesn't sound like too much, the exhaust, I wanted to say. Anyways, yes, hello and welcome to a test ride on the Yamaha MT-07 reduced version to 35 kilowatt. The regular version, I think, has 75 horsepower. Do we have a shift light indicator? Yes. Okay. Two-cylinder, 68 Newton meters, the full version. I'm not sure if the 35 kilowatt has the same Newton meter, maybe a little less, maybe 5 less or something. That's how it is with my Z900. So MT-07, MT apparently stands for, at least that's what you always hear, monster of torque. I will not check it because I'm not an experienced monster of torque handler. But apparently it has to have more torque than my CB500X, which I had. Yeah, pretty nice already. Yeah, the first test ride I had about a year ago, or I don't know, 1.5 years ago with this MT-07, but that did not go very well because my microphone did not work, and they said I only have I don't know, 20 minutes or something as usual. So, and I was not really happy with it. Also, it had actually the installation for top box in the rear. They were so kind to take off the top box, but I think that's terrible. I mean, they use it as a rental bike as well, understandable then. But for a test ride to have a top box on the MT-07 looks kind of ridiculous. So let's try to do the same route as we did with our other test rides. See if we can get into the mountains. Same conditions for all of the bikes, right? Definitely seems to have a lot of get up and go, and I can imagine that you can do wheelies with it, or at least easily, but I don't want to. I hope I will not make any wheelies with it. So let's go to the left here. Fourth gear. I mean, this experience, as I said before, you know, with this bike, and I was at that time I did not have any bike, so I was still thinking of buying one. But of course, you know, when you get experiences like that, they actually they decide on, you know, on your future motorbike life. And that was a crappy test ride, and of course, you know, that usually counts of, you know, what you're going to buy. But once again, most of the dealers, they don't really care about this stuff, and that you get a nice test riding experience. So the front is also very short here, almost like the CB650R, but at least you see the front, the headlight and stuff like that. I like this better actually, because on the CB650R you only saw the display and that was it. It really looked, the front looked like from a bicycle actually. So I didn't really like that. Although it's a nice bike and it looks nice from the outside, but you just didn't see anything, you know, on the CB650R. Oh, we're riding so economically. That the eco symbol comes up. That is really amazing, isn't it? So the seating position for me, I'm 175, 80 kilos, I hope still, is actually not too bad. I think it feels like they're on the Z900 for me, although the seat height is a little bit lower. Of course, it's different riding, you know. If I compare this to the Z900 now, to my reduced version, on my Z900 I do feel a little bit safer, to be honest, at this speed, but once again, just subjective about this, just relative. But I'm sure this is a big performer here. From the sound, I don't know how it is in the microphone now, from the sound when I'm on the bike, I basically don't hear anything from the engine motor, from the exhaust. The mirrors are very nice. I like the mirrors. They're clear and clean. No, just kidding. And they can be easily adjusted, just how it should be. I mean, just this is Yamaha quality, you know, just saying Yamaha quality and Honda quality. You cannot really say anything about that. You just want to concentrate on the engine, what it feels like, the gear, how do you say, the drivetrain and stuff. With the Hondas, I always had not problems, but kind of not, you know, how do you say this? I noticed, you know, that the gearbox was kind of clunky, and it was not the only Honda that I rode or that I bought and that I test rode, and so I guess it must be in the family of the Honda. Yeah, dangerous situation there. So the gearbox from this one, I think, to me it seems a little bit better than the Honda. Not as clunky as the Honda, but not as refined as the Kawasaki. Kawasaki, I still think, you know, you can sit on any of the Kawasaki's and they've got a really nice clicking into place gearbox. Yeah, just my impressions. The how do you say it? The RPM counter down there, okay, you would probably have to get used to that as well, because I don't really see it from here. No, I can see it from here, that's stupid, but it's just that I don't notice it, you know. Anyway, so let's go to our favorite walk-around spot and take some pretty pictures there. I guess I have to clean the bike again first, because it is not clean. Okay, when it stands on the road for 1 or 2 months, understandable maybe, but you know, at least as a test ride machine they should keep it in very good shape and always clean, that you feel excited to ride it. So this MT-07 has ABS naturally, but it does not have traction control. This is, I think, I'm not sure, 2020 model, I think so. But I'm really looking forward to next year, because I'm sure they will change the front mask, the front bezel, how do you call this, you know, from in the front, to the look of the new MT-03 and 125, because I think that looks really aggressive, really nice, but all LED. Of course, this is just one of the older ones that they still have to update, and I hope they will update it for next year, because it's really overdue. Of course, there's some people who really like the MT-07, but to me also a bike has to be up to date, and the MT-07, you know, with the lights and stuff like that, and the look is not really that up to date anymore. But I'm sure next year it will come. I'm fairly sure, because they have to, you know, everything else they have changed already. Everything else they have updated already. Okay, not that much braking power of the engine, but apparently because it's a 2-cylinder, I cannot compare it with my 4-cylinder naturally. The throttle is also pretty jerky. Maybe you can see and feel that. When you come from a different bike, you always have to adjust to this first. As I said, I'm not an expert and I don't take the curves like a crazy maniac, so I cannot really, it rides nice in the curves, but I couldn't tell you if it's good or bad. But for me, it's definitely sufficient, you know. So, let's do a walk around here. So yes, let's continue with our test ride here of the Yamaha MT-07 35 kilowatt 48 horsepower. The key data I will put in the video. Have a look on the right hand side. Also I can tell you, as I said, as a 35 kilowatt version it has 35 kilowatts, and the full version has, I think, I don't know how many kilowatts that is, but it has 75 horsepower. It's a 689cc engine, 2-cylinder. It produces 68 Newton meter, I think 68 or 63, now I'm confused. Okay, I will put it on the screen. They say MT stands for monster of torque. You could do wheelies with it and stuff like that. I'm too old for this. Besides, don't really like to do stuff like that. And that's why I'm not doing it. Anyways, what else can I tell you? The rear tire, by the way, is a 180. So that's pretty cool. I have to see where my gimbal is pointing here. Actually, it has 2 disc brakes in the front. That's pretty good. And the stock exhaust. When you turn on the bike, I will do the sound check now. You will hear that it doesn't sound like too much. Of course, when you come, you know, I'm kind of possessed with the 4-cylinders. When you come from a 4-cylinder, then when you turn this on, there's nothing really happening, or it sounds more like a 1-cylinder or something. But of course, you can change the stock exhaust to something else and make it sound more pretty. So let's go to the display quickly. So here we have the display. You can show the average fuel consumption for 5.8, where you see the cooling temperature 74 degrees, the outside temperature, which I think it's pretty cool, 26 degrees. The odometer reading 1530, and the trip blinks now. I don't know why. We have a trip, and we have the other trip. I don't know. And we have the current fuel consumption for this. So the other button, I don't know what that does. It probably resets stuff. I am not really too sure, but there you go. You see what you can actually display in the display. We have the fuel, how much fuel is left in the tank. By the way, this is a 14-liter tank. Down below we have the RPM counter. It shows the gear. That is very good. That was lacking on the Hondas for a long time, but this always had the gear indicator. That's pretty cool. And of course you have the speedometer on the right hand side. That's about it, I think, you know. On the handlebar you have basically the usual. You have the high beam and low beam. You have to, they're a little bit different at Yamaha. You don't, they're not buttons, they're like sliders. Okay. You have the turn signal switch, which is pretty nice. We have the horn. What else do we have? We have the start switch, which is also a slide switch, kind of strange, but Yamaha specific, I think. And there's the hazard light as well, together with the throttle. I will show you the bike from the front now. And I will show you the bike from the rear. Soundcheck. Yes, so that's basically the exhaust is coming up for you, or maybe I put it in between already. This is basically my test ride of the Yamaha MT-07 reduced version. It has a lot of get up and go. So if you are young and restless, I think, and reckless, this is probably the bike for you. As I said, maybe you should wait until next year. I am fairly sure that they will change the look of it to adapt to the other line, to the other product line, you know, with the MT-03 and MT-01, MT-125, MT-09. Yeah, they have changed everything already except for this one. Okay, thanks very much for watching. This has been Alright Out. Take care. Bye-bye.